Hi guys, welcome to the tutorial. Today I'll be taking you through the procedures of connecting to the Moonbeam and the Moonriver network using the Ethereum Web3 library of Python. Now, the Moonriver network is a sister chain of the Moonbeam network. So projects that are going to launch on Moonbeam, they will first be deployed to the Moonriver network for testing. Then after they've been tested, then they will be deployed to Moonbeam. Okay, so if you are watching this tutorial, you might want to maybe make transactions or deploy your smart contract using Python. This is an intro video for you to get started. So let's get right into it. First, you want to have Python installed on your computer. I'm using the latest version of Python as at the point of making this video. Then next, you will have to install the Web3 dependency using the pip install command of Python. So just do that. Yeah. Okay. One thing you need to note, you should have the latest version of Microsoft Build Tools installed for this to work or else you will be thrown some errors while trying to install Web3. So that's that. Let me clear it. Now let's move right into the code. Now you have to import Web3 method, and then next you have to get your provider URLs. And I'll be, for this purpose of this tutorial, I'll be connecting to the testnet URL of Moonbeam, and it is called the alpha base. So I'll just paste the three endpoints which we have. So we have the development endpoint, the AlphaNet, which is the testnet, and then the Moonriver mainnet. So now we write our connection function and Web3. We will try to connect to our HTTP provider. So these are HTTP endpoints, as you can see. We also have WebSocket endpoints, which are slightly different from this. And you can check the Moonbeam documentation, which will be in the description below, for the other endpoints. Now these endpoints are the endpoints provided by PureStake. They are just for development purposes. So we have to put in our endpoint URL. So we put provider. So we are connecting to the AlphaNet. Okay, so for us to be sure that we are connected, we just print web3.is is connected. Sorry, this has to be is connected. So now we run this code. Oh, sorry, there was an error. Okay, so now you can see that this is true and we are connected successfully to the endpoint. So let's try and to check our balance. Check balance. So to check our balance, we need to get the wallet address. So I'm going to use, this is the Moonbase Alpha on MetaMask. I already have 9.39 dev tokens. So this is the token for the testnet. So just copy my MetaMask address and we go to, so we have our wallet address copied. Call that ID, and we'll put that in the checksum format. Yeah, this is important just to avoid any errors. Now we get our balance in way. Balance in way. We use the web3.it.get balance function, method, and add. Now we print this balance in way, and we run this. So we can see our balance in way is, and so we'll convert it to the regular format which we all know. So balance in it. Now we come to Web3 from way. Now we have our balance in way, then the unit is ether. So this tells us what unit we want to have our balance in. So if we print balance in it, so we can see we have 9.399 just like we have in our MetaMask right here. So we can get our balance. Now we attempt to make a transaction to transfer the tokens on the Moonbeam testnet to another account. And now to make transactions, you should have the private key of the account that you're going to use. So I have this configured already in this config file where my private key is. So send transaction. So for this, we'll also be using the Ethereum method to send transaction. Our account from, now we put this detail, so we'll have so we have this the private key, the config private. You should always keep your private keys a secret. Now our address, so I'll just copy this address here. Okay, so we have our account from then the receiving account 2. So I'll get that from my second account on MetaMask. So this is my first account with 9.39 dev account. So this is my second account, the account 2, 0.6 dev tokens. So I'll just paste that here. So I would attempt to send one dev token to this receiving account. So let's print something here. Attempting to send a transaction. So now we have to sign our transaction. So we say transaction equals account. Sign transaction. So to sign the transaction, you first have to, of course, build the transaction. So then next thing, the transaction, the signed transaction takes in the transaction and the private key that signs the transaction. So it's something we have transaction and then the private key. So this is the method we're going to use. So we first build our transaction. The transaction goes here. So we have first of all our nonce. And the nonce ensures, define the nonce ensures that we don't send multiple transactions, and we get the nonce by getting our transaction count. The transaction count of our address that we're sending from. So that would be the account from address. And the next would be our gas price. Gas price. We'll be using 5. Let's use 5 gray, and that's sufficient. Then special our gas limit. I don't think that is equal to 1,000. Now we have to specify the recipient address. So address will be the address, as account 2, and then finally the value to the amount we want to send. This one we'll be sending 1 dev token. Now, so after then we sign, we have the account from private key. So now we have our transaction built. Next will be to send our raw transaction. Send the raw transaction. So we'll call this okay, let's say raw transaction. Let's send raw transaction. This will be our transaction. Raw trans. So this would return the transaction hash. So just look at call this raw transaction. Okay, let's call this transaction hash. Now we print our transaction hash. Web3, we have to convert this to hex. The transaction hash. Okay, so that should be it. Now we run our code. Oh, we did not import config. Bad. Okay, so we have seen our transaction gone through. Now we can check our wallet. Okay, now we can see our transaction has gone through. If we check the receiving wallet, you can see 1.6 dev here. That's it. Okay, so if we check the transaction hash, we'll copy this and we come over to the Moonbeam testnet network and we check our transaction hash here. Okay, so we can see one dev token success, transaction success, transaction fee of 0.001 dev. Okay, so and our gas value all correct. So yes, that's it for this tutorial.